everyone. This is High Priestess Tana, and you're tuning into Tana Temple Healing Works. I hope you all are having a beautiful day today. Yeah, we're getting close to the end of the week. Well, we are technically at the end of the week. Tomorrow's Friday, so I hope that everyone have a beautiful rest of their work week and the weekend as well. If I don't see you, just in case if I don't see you before then, so yeah, I just hope everything is going well and that you are excited to hear about another installment pertaining to me talk about the dark side of fame and about certain people you may have been interested in the past, but you may notice that they're not as how would I say as alluring or mesmerizing or however you want to put it, as you may think they are or were because you found out that they were involved in some things that seemed quite questionable. So, yeah, you have to think about all those different things because, well, like when you're so called idolizing celebrities, because you don't know what these people are into, what they have, what type of energies that are associated with them. And you basically could be tapping into something that could be dangerous and maybe too powerful for you to be able to manage. I have been watching a lot of different content based on just obviously conspiracy theories. I like that type of stuff. But just being overloaded with a bunch of gook or whatever or a bunch of crap all day. I'm not interested in that type of stuff. So, um, yeah, I like to read about things that are very important when it comes to not just spirituality, but when it comes to the government, politics, history, you name it. Life isn't supposed to be just about makeup tutorials and celebrity gossip and materialistic shit. You know, you have to have some depth to you as a person, okay? And that's not trying to be, an asshole, but I'm just speaking facts here, you know? Okay, so for example, when we were children or teenagers, like we had a lot of people who we would listen to, right? A lot of people would grow up listening to Beyonce and the different girl groups that were popular back in the day, like Destiny's Child, TLC. There were a lot of other groups too that were very popular that we know the names, Spice Girls and just a lot of different R&B groups that were really good. And then we had solo singers like Aaliyah and just thinking like Sierra, different people like that, right? Chris Brown, Rihanna, all these different people. So I'm just thinking of some of the top people, and we grew up listening to all different types of rappers, right? Like Jay-Z, DMX, Tupac, okay, Notorious B.I.G. You feel me? Like a lot of these popular rappers, 50 Cent, Ja Rule, all these different people. Yeah, so a lot of heavyweights in the industry, right? But then you have to think about like what are you really tapping into? And I'm not saying that a lot of these people are into stuff that are considered to be demonic or whatever, but a lot of people do partake in things to get to the top. I'm just saying, you have to be mindful of who you're idolizing because you don't know what it took for them to get where they are. I'm just naming examples, but also I'm thinking of other people like from the rock world when we think of like Nirvana and different rock groups that we may have listened to, like Metallica, Kiss, Leonard Skinner, and what's the other group I like? Soundgarden and all these other groups. We're just thinking like, wow, John. Well, Bon Jovi. I was about to say John Bon Jovi, but Bon Jovi and just to name some, Black Sabbath, all that, all that stuff, right? So when we take in consideration, like, wow, what were we really listening to? And why can't I get these songs out my damn head? It's crazy. I'm about to sip some coffee, y'all. And I actually got a coffee mug that say coffee on it. Y'all. But yeah, there are things that are called like subliminal messages, right? Because when you think about it, when you're looking at somebody's video, like music video back in the day, or a movie with this particular person, like, oh, I'm thinking about actresses too. Like, some people, like, oh my God, Halle Berry is so fine, and I'm just saying Denzel Washington is so fine, and this and that, and just naming a few people, right? And or Morris Chestnut and all these different people, just naming a lot of, or Sally Richardson, or just different people that were popular back in the day. And a lot of guys would be so in love with Halle Berry and still are, right? But I'm just thinking of, there are a lot of many popular black actors and actresses, but I'm just naming just a few that are considered to be very like sexy and stuff like that. So, um, then you would have people back in the day like singers. Oh, Whitney Houston, y'all. I'm like, wait a minute, Brandy, Monica. You know what I'm saying? And they also did some acting as well, especially Brandy and Whitney Houston more so than Monica, from my understanding. But obviously, we had Brandy with her show Moesha, and Moesha, for the most part, was a positive role model. Um, so I don't really have much to say about that, obviously, but you notice how people started to demonize her after she had that accident that resulted in someone losing their life and stuff, right? So it is crazy because there are so many like people in the industry that have had, like I was talking about, tragedies around them as well, which I want to delve back into, and I spoke about that on a previous video. Um but my thing is like, when we think of these other people coming out like Nicki Minaj and Lady Gaga and just different people, right? How they came out and they were explosive. Like, their energy was like contagious when they came out. Drake, you know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking of a lot of people because there are so many people. And I was thinking about who are some other black actors and actresses that are considered to be like sex symbols. I think I may have mentioned about, yeah, about Morris Chestnut, Denzel Washington. Then you have other like black celebrities too who are very attractive, newer generations of people, um, and actresses as well. And some people, like, they've been worshiping celebrities for a long time, but like I said, you don't know what they had to do to get where they are. Excuse me. And it may not have been easy like you thought. Ooh, some more singers I forgot to mention, y'all. Prince and Michael Jackson. I'm like, what the Prince and Michael Jackson. So let's start off like with the usual suspects, right? Prince and Michael Jackson. Other rappers. I mention Snoop Dogg? I think I forgot to mention Snoop Dogg. You had the Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg, a lot of people from Death Row, Dr. Dre, Easy E, all these different people. Because it was like Ruthless Records too had artists. They did Bone Thugs and Harmony. Ooh, I got it now, y'all. Cause I'm all over the place. I want to talk about the rappers first. Snoop Dogg. Let me write this down, y'all. Snoop Dogg. Murder was the case. All right, murder was the case. Was very popular back then. Cause I remember that song goes. Murder was the case that they gave me. I was like, wow, that video was crazy, right? So there was some type of speculation about whether or not Snoop had, if he had allegedly sold his soul to the devil and all this other shit, right? And in the hood, a lot of people was wondering, like, yo, y'all saw that shit? That shit was scary to motherfucker. Like that, it was really like a short movie instead of a video, from my understanding. And I had watched it again as I had gotten older, but I was like, y'all, that some of that energy was wow. It was too. It was like crazy because if you think about it, in the video, if I recall correctly, it's scary because it's scarier to me now because I believe his friend named Ricky Harris, who was also like a comedian and a producer and stuff in the industry, and an actor as well. He was in the movie High School High. He also was on the show Moesha. And he also was, I think he was in that movie This Christmas with Chris Brown. You see how people tie in together here? And he was in Bones, the movie Bones, and he died in the movie Bones. He died in a short movie slash video. Murder was the case. And oh, he was in Tales from the Hood, y'all. So check this out. Speaking of Moesha, I got another person for you and he was on Moesha too, Ricky Harris. And he used to be on like Def Comedy Jam, and he made his rounds in Hollywood, different, in various outlets. So he did do stand up comedy too. But let me go back to the Moesha slash Brandy theory, right? So check this out. Lamont Bentley. Y'all remember Lamont Bentley who played Hakeem? He was in Tales from the Hood, and his character got killed, and Ricky Harris' character got killed in there. So in the movie, Lamont Bentley had played Crazy K, and Crazy K had shot Ricky Harris, which was supposed to be one of the homeboys of the other three main characters, who was played by the ball guy that was in the Players Club and Minister Society. I forgot his name. And the other guy, I forgot his name, is DeAndre Bonds or something like that. He was he was in the Wood, and it was some other movies he was in too that I like, including Tales from the Hood, right? And yeah, the other guy, he's been in some other hood movies too. The one that I mentioned that was in Minister Society, Players Club and shit. He always played Knucklehead too. And you had Joe Torre, who was the brother of Guy Torre. They're both comedians and they're brothers. And they too were on Def Comedy Jam. So check this out. Lamont Bentley's character, Crazy K, got killed. Well, unalived. Let me correct myself. And also, Ricky Harris's character got unalived in the movie. So that shit was crazy. So let me tell you something. Let me tie in these 6 degrees of separation here. Okay. So you got also Clarence Williams III, who played the devil slash like uh funeral home director or however you want to put it, slash mortician or some shit. He played Prince's father in Purple Rain. You see what I'm saying? He was abusive, but he was very talented, but he was very flawed as well as a character. Like Prince, who played the kid, aka the kid in Purple Rain. Y'all, check this out. I just realized, I just forgot that I got a Prince shirt on, y'all. A Purple Rain damn t shirt, y'all. Yep, I got a Purple Rain t-shirt on. That's crazy. So, yeah, so that is crazy. When I was thinking, I said, wait a minute. But yeah, so that is so it's interesting how all these people can kind of tie in together. So also, um, who else I was thinking about? Um, let's see, who else. Oh, it's a connection with the movie Friday too. I know y'all remember Paula J. Parker when she was like, "You ain't got the lie, Craig. You ain't got the lie," and all this other stuff. She was a mess, y'all. She was in Friday, and who else was in Friday too? That was it was somebody else from what I mentioned that were comedians that were in Friday and stuff like that too. I'm trying to think the connection with the NWA. I meant to mention about because I talked about Easy E, Dr. Dre. I forgot to mention Ice Cube, right? So that's a connection with I'm thinking about Friday with Ice Cube, who's also popular. He was a very popular solo rapper too, obviously back in the day as well, from like the early '90s up until like I would argue would say early to mid 2000s. He was still pretty much making stuff that was getting a lot of attention. Um, a lot of yeah. So air like well with the airplay. Oh, the Players Club too. So check this out. Ice Cube, he was in the Players Club. He was also in Friday, and he was also part of that '90s like late '80s '90s rap movement, especially with gangster rap. So excuse me. I was thinking of something, but no, with Friday, it was another connection I was thinking of. Certain people that was in Friday also. I'm trying to think if anybody that was. Oh, that's why I brought up about Friday. What's her name? Uh, what's her name? Yvette Wilson, who played Andale, y'all. She popped up in my head because she was in Friday, but check this out. Ricky Harris also played one of her boyfriends on Moesha, if I recall correctly. And that's the Brandy link too. You know what I'm saying? And she was also on the Parkers, and she played Nikki Parker's best friend. Um, and sometimes they were kind of like little enemies too. You know what I'm saying? And she alongside with Countess Vaughn also was in Moesha, and she was a main character. She was one of her best friends. She played Kim, of course. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it was another a deceased person that was in Friday and also was in Moesha, because I kept talking about Moesha this and Moesha that. I said it's a person that was linked, two people that was linked, like that. It's like a chain, like of different people, like 6 degrees of separation, right? That's crazy. But I'm also thinking about who else. Um, it was somebody else I was thinking of. Yeah, but she passed away too. So she had a Yvette Wilson, I believe she had a connection to Friday, the first Friday, Moesha, and the Parkers. And oh, you know what just came in mind too? Y'all may not remember this, but she had a real short role, like a short appearance in Don't Be a Menace to Society while drinking your juice in the hood and all that stuff, which was like it was a parody of different hood movies like Boys in the Hood. There go Ice Cube again, Boys in the Hood. And what was that? Menace to Society and a few other like popular hood classics at the time, because it was still like the mid 90s when Don't Be a Menace came out. I just shortened it to Don't Be a Menace because ain't nobody trying to say all that, right? So it's crazy because I was thinking like, damn, I look at movies and stuff and I was thinking about a lot of people who passed away and stuff, but it's just crazy. Like it seemed like there's always like a connection. Some people are interconnected when it comes to like certain projects and stuff. And then you got to think like if they're comedians or if they're um rappers. So check this out. I I don't know like if Tupac was still living at the time, if him and DMX would have been in Belly together, or they would have, like if it was a possibility that he was up for the role. I can't remember if that was true or not, but man, could y'all imagine? Even though Nas and DMX made a great combination, I think, oh man, you know how much energy that would have been in that movie. And if you think about it, Tupac is deceased and DMX is deceased too, and that's crazy because they're like legends, right? Um, it seemed like it's always so much tragedy around like the our famous actors, actresses, singers, and stuff like that, and um, it just it sometimes it's like almost like a coincidence, And what's crazy was what I was about. Oh, I skipped over. Let me go back talk about Lamont Bentley, right? So Lamont Bentley died in a car accident, if I'm not mistaken, and that was back in like the earlier 2000s. I want to say when he passed. And Yvette Wilson passed away. Ricky Harris. Oh, and Bernie Mac also was on the Moesha show as well. And let's see. He was also in Friday. He was also in the Players Club movie. He was the owner, Dollar Bill, y'all. Okay. So check this out. Lisa Ray was in Players Club. She played Diamond, but guess what? She was in um Tupac's. I think one of his last videos he made, or the last video he made, that he actually appeared in, Toss It Up. She was in there too. Back in the day, yep, she sure was. Um, what else was I thinking about? Yeah, it's crazy because I'm thinking about Crisscross. They were popular back then, and Michael Jackson, right? Because they were in the Jam video, and also I think they were headliners. Excuse me, they were headliners for Michael Jackson back in the day for his Dangerous tour, I believe, as well. And what's crazy is that I believe that's I want to make sure I'm correct. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I believe that's let's see, who passed away. That was, let me see, was that okay? Chris Kelly, Chris Kelly or Crisscross. I believe he was called, was it Mac Daddy? Yeah, he was called Mac Daddy. Okay. Because both of them names were Chris. Chris Mac Daddy Kelly, he was the one who passed away. Unfortunately, God rest his soul. And then Chris Daddy Mac Smith. Okay. So yeah, that's crazy how you see what I'm saying? Like it's just wow, But um I wanna go back to talk about how there were tragedies around a lot of people's, demise, or their deaths. Okay, for example, we knew about Whitney Houston, and we knew that she struggled with drug abuse, and I believe a few other things was going on in her life as well that we may not have known about. Usually they say when you're in the industry, you become a puppet. So I want to talk about some things now. I really want to delve into some things and really touch base on some stuff that may come across as feeling uncomfortable, but like I said, like everything isn't for everybody, but I like to tell it how it is. I don't believe in sugarcoating. This is a no sugarcoating channel, right? So let's start off with Whitney Houston. So with Whitney Houston, we knew that she had a lot of battles. She went through some shit, okay? Um, she was on drugs. One minute she had lost her voice, like she couldn't sing the notes that she could usually sing, and there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and a lot of people said that they think that she was set up to be unalived and all this other stuff, and possibly by Clive Davis allegedly, and um, a lot of different things happened, right? Or by some people was also blaming. Some people was blaming Ray J. Some people was blaming Brandy. They talk about Brandy was passed some note. Uh, Whitney Houston had passed Brandy a note and all this other stuff, and it said something kind of cryptic or some type of message that maybe it was just straightforward. But I don't want to get into all that, but because yeah, it's a lot going on with that whole situation. But people was saying that this so-called, I'ma say, uh, powers that be allegedly wanted her gone. Okay, and they were saying the same thing about her daughter, and people were saying the same thing about that Nick guy. What was his name? Nick. What is his name? Nick Gordon. I want to believe. I believe rather. I want to say. Yeah. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot of shit going on with this whole situation, and now I want to talk about, when I was talking about Brandy, right? So check this out. Um, a lot of people were saying that it seemed like people who had a connection with Brandy or something. It seemed like a lot of people died around her, and it's true. But I don't know if it. I'm not going to get into all the spiritual, wooga booga shit that people try to be like, oh, it could have been witchcraft, or it could have been this, or it could have been that, or sacrifices and all this shit. People still say that she so called sacrificed Whitney Houston. You know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, some stuff isn't, like I say, everything isn't a conspiracy theory. Some people just live lives that are very troubled. And this was before the industries, and the industry just um magnified how messed up things were already, and they basically had gotten worse because they had more access, more money to get more drugs or to overindulge in drugs and alcohol, sex, you name it, blowing money unnecessarily, just frivolously, you know. But I'm also thinking about Lamont Bentley, Bernie Mac, Yvette Wilson, who else? Oh yeah, Ricky Harris, and different people. Oh, Merlin Santana, y'all. Remember he played Ohaji, and he was killed back in the day too, back in the early 2000s. Some like early mid 2000s, I want to say. And he was also known as playing Romeo on the Steve Harvey show, but he played Ohaji. That's another person. Now, I'm going to tell you this. He was in a movie that was similar to that East Coast, West Coast shit, and I'm about to pull it up now, where he was somewhat like a Tupac esque character. And I heard somebody was saying that he was supposed to play Tupac in a movie or something before he died or something. They wanted him to play Tupac. So check this out. He passed away on November 9th, 2002. I'm talking about Merlin Santana, right? And he also was an actor and a rapper, right? So, what was I about to say? Oh, he was also on the Cosby Show back in the day too. Yep, yep, he sure was. And let's see, it was a movie called Played, a hip hop story, right? So him and his and it included Tony Braxton. Um, it was definitely given a recreation of the East Coast West Coast beef between Biggie and Tupac. It was kind of on that type of time. So his character ended up getting shot and killed. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was in a group with this guy. Um, and the guy may have gotten him set up to get shot and killed or something, or they try to make it seem like he knew about that or whatever, the other guy. But it's pretty good. It was pretty good from what I remember. So I'm just gonna read a little caption. Rashawn now stars as rising East Coast star, well, East Coast rap star Jax, who has formed a musical partnership with longtime buddy Mayhem, Merlin Santana. Enter Domino Breed, Faison Love. Faison Love. Wait a minute. Faison Love was in, he played Big Worm in Friday. Yep, he played Big Worm in Friday. Also, he had a part in Don't Be a Menace as well. He had a small part in that movie. That's another movie I was just mentioning. It's crazy how these people tie in together. So check this out. Domino Breed was supposed to be kind of like a Suge Knight like character. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, enter Domino Breed, Faison Love, ruthless CEO of the Block Records, a West Coast label, uh, filling Jack's head with promises of solo stardom and innumerable creature comforts, not all of them legal. Domino lures the young performer to California, as he becomes immersed in a gangster lifestyle common to so many of Domino's disciples. Jax grows distant from his friends and loved ones, especially his wife Shonda, Tony Braxton, who had originally been in favor of her husband's career move. Inevitably, the greed-dieted rivalry between Jax and his former partner Mayhem culminates in tragedy. Yeah. So, it was a lot of people in this movie too that you will be like, damn, they was a lot of these people were in movies together. Like it's like 6 degrees of separation. So check this out. Clifton Powell was in here. He played Oz. Clifton Powell was also in Bones, a movie I mentioned before, which is linked to Snoop Dogg. Also, what's the let's see, he had appeared on one episode of The Parkers, where he played like a car salesman, but they thought he was like a mob boss or something because of his demeanor. Because they found some money in a car or something that came from one of his car lots or something like that. When the car was auctioned, I think it was some car that belonged to him, and one I don't know, something like that. Anyway, then you have what else was he in? Menace to Society. He was in that. Um, yeah, this is crazy. So what else? I'm thinking about. It was something else. Oh, going back to this story, right? So basically, um, they say art imitates life. Do you know Merlin Santana basically had gotten set up by this female? Because from my understanding, he had slept with her and messed around with her, but he really wasn't trying to be her man or something. And she got him set up to get killed and robbed or some shit. Let me check into that a little bit more deeply. So check this out. Yep, I went straight to it. On November 9th, 2002, Santana was shot dead in Los Angeles by 19-year-old Damien Andre Gates, ordered by Gates' girlfriend Monique King, who falsely accused Santana of making sexual advances towards her. So let me go back and tell you the whole story. So check this out. Um, all right. It says murder in burial. On November 9th, 2002, Santana was murdered while sitting in a car in Los Angeles. Santana and his friend actor Brandon Adams, who also was linked to Michael Jackson because he was in a Bad video, but the little kids version of Bad, and he was in this movie called The People Under the Stairs, and he played a boyfriend of Moesha's slash Brandy's on the show Moesha, y'all, as well. That's crazy how both of them, Merlin Santana and Brandon Adams, both were on Moesha, and they both played love interests of Moesha slash Brandy. Okay, um, yeah. So yeah, let me go back. Had just left an acquaintance's home in the Crenshaw district when Damien Andre Gates, 19 at the time, fired the shot that entered through the trunk of the vehicle in which Santana was a passenger. The bullet penetrated the right front passenger headrest and entered Santana's head, killing him. Santana was buried at St. Raymond Cemetery in the Bronx borough of New York City. He was survived by his daughter Melinda. Wow. So check this out. In 2003, Gates was convicted of the first-degree murder of Santana in an attempted murder of Adams. It was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences plus 70 years in prison. Brandon Douglas Bynes, who was 23 at the time and was with Gates during the shooting, received a 23-year sentence after pleading guilty to voluntary manslaughter and assault with a deadly weapon. An LAPD officer involved in the case testified that Monique King, reportedly Gates' girlfriend, aged 15 at the time, falsely claimed that Santana made sexual advances towards her, which prompted the attack. Oh, wow. In 2004, King was found guilty of second-degree murder and attempted murder, but was acquitted on 2 murder charges, receiving 10 years in juvenile custody as a result of Santana's death. So, it was a different story that I heard. And from my understanding, Merlin did not know she was the age she was, but um, let me see. Merlin, wait a minute. Merlin Santana set up by Monique King. You see. Mm. So according to the Los Angeles Times, let's see. It was something else that I've had got a whole different story. I mean, I heard about this part of the story, but okay, I want to see. So, they did not have a romantic connection. Correction. But you know what I'm thinking of, y'all? It overlaps with that shit that like with Tupac, right? Because I read something that I think it was on one of those YouTube channels or something that he was supposed to play Tupac, right? And this situation remind me of how basically Tupac's life was ruined over a female who said that he took advantage of her. And kind of find out they said it was more than one case that was saying that he had took advantage of a few other females. They claim this, but I think they closed the cases or he paid them off or something, just settled to make them be quiet or something, because or just settled because he was just sick of them lying on him, not because that they were true, but they were settlements so that he could get them off their back or something, allegedly, from what I remember. um yeah, she lied. They never did have a romantic connection, from my understanding. Very unfortunate. He lost his life over some crazy shit. But anyway, who that was that was very heavy. Yeah, it's just a lot going on with celebrities and stuff. And that's just talking about like rappers and the hell was this? Yeah, sometimes you got to be careful because these pages are, they could be real spammy. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was. Um, I believe that she wanted him and he didn't want her. Um, so she took power in her own hands by trying to, by retaliating or having these guys retaliate or whatever against him because he didn't want her. In this case with Merlin Santana. Also, Merlin Santana was on the show Sister Sister. He was in a lot of stuff, y'all, back in the day. Yep. So, oh, let me go back to Snoop Dogg, right? So, with Snoop Dogg, murder was the case. See, back in, was it 93? Snoop was convicted of murder and they claimed that he shot and killed this guy, but he didn't really do it. I believe his bodyguard or something shot the guy. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, back in 1993, Snoop Dogg and his bodyguard McKinley Lee were charged with first-degree murder. They were accused of shooting and killing Philip Waldemariam, a 20-year-old alleged gang member, during a confrontation in the Palms neighborhood in Los Angeles. Snoop Dogg was tried on first and second degree murder charges in 1996. He remained free on a $1 million bail. After a lengthy trial, the rapper and his bodyguard were acquitted of murder. The jury accepted that Lee shot Walter Mariam in self defense. Snoop Dogg's legal troubles did not stop his career from flourishing. In fact, the case brought him even more attention. Snoop was crafting his debut album Doggy Style while awaiting trial. He released a single and accompanying 18-minute short film Murder Was the Case in 1994, directed by Dr. Dre and Fab Five Freddy. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much all what they had to say about that. Okay. Um, and this come from the All Hip Hop article. This was back in, oh wow, on my dad's birthday too, October 10th, back in 2024. So, yeah, that's crazy. So it's just a lot going on. And speaking of, I did bring up about Ray J. People thought that Ray J had something to do allegedly with Whitney Houston's death as well because they were messing around with each other romantically for a minute, from my understanding. And Ray J life has been going like kind of downhill too. Well, not kind of, but and then after he was on Moesha too, right? He was on Moesha and he played Dorian. But how they wrote the script was that Dorian was supposed to be like her cousin or something. And then they wrote in the script that he was the child of, I mean, the secret love child of Frank. So, yeah. He was supposed to, he played the half brother of Moesha and Miles on the show. But we know in real life, we know Ray J is Brandy's brother, and people don't ever let him forget that. We already know about the sex tape with him and Kim Kardashian. We already know about the other drama that's in his love life and all the other crazy events and stuff he do that he just be, kind of flipping out, doing some stuff that's kind of questionable, not kind of shit that's very questionable, right? Yeah, it's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. Excuse me. Yeah, that was his character, Dorian D. Money Long. Boy. All right, so I think I covered a lot of different stuff, but also I was just thinking about what else I want to touch base on. Michael Jackson and Prince. I've talked about Michael Jackson and Prince before, but I just want to talk about a few key points about Prince because we already know these things a lot. When Prince said, "Don't ever let the elevator bring us down. Oh no, let's go," or however it went, "Let's go crazy, let's get nuts," whatever. People was saying that he mentioned that the elevator was like another term for the devil. Like, don't let the devil get you down, and pretty much take your power from you. Don't you submit to the madness, or don't you become a puppet. And I believe that some people really do believe that Prince started to he may have really allegedly took the oath when he did Purple Rain, because I believe that was his best-selling album ever. And the movie did phenomenal too in sales and everything like that. And the album, of course, did well, the tour and everything like that. But some people was thinking, wow, was that like his claim to fame, even like to really blow up for real in the industry when he did Purple Rain? And also, not only just Purple Rain, the movie, but also make titling the album or making the album Purple Rain. And also, it was a song on the album called Purple Rain, right? Um, Prince was a very controversial artist as well as Michael Jackson. People have said that Michael Jackson followed the teachings of Aleister Crowley and other alleged other occultists and all this other stuff, and you can see it incorporated on a Dangerous album. Um, some people was also talking about let's see what else they were saying. Off the Wall, Michael Jackson, his very first, I believe that was his first solo album. No, it wasn't. Correction, that's what I thought. They said that it was the fifth studio album by Michael Jackson, and it was released on August 10th, 1979. Now, somebody was talking about that song, Blame It on the Boogie, and um, they said something was going on with the album credits or something. that where he basically it was something crazy that they said that he was basically giving homage or whatever to the devil or some shit. Um, it's wild, y'all. I don't know how true that is. That's why I'm trying to investigate that. I'm gonna put B. I think they said something about Beelzebub or some shit. This is crazy. That's what somebody said. Now I don't believe that's true, but if so, I mean, what the hell can we do about it? Shit. Well, I talked about Thriller, y'all. If y'all want to check out that series I did, I told a mouthful and that shit. Um, Another thing too, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I think I'm about to wrap this up because I've been talking long enough, y'all. I'm about to talk about a few more people. Um, with Bone Thugs and Harmony, the song Crossroads, some people, let's see, some people have their own interpretation of what the song, not just what it means, but I think it really made them more famous when they did that song Crossroads. But the album, not the album cover, sorry, the I want to say maybe the cover for the single, as they would say back then, because it was a B-side, Crossroad, Bud Smokers Only. So, yeah, yeah, it was a single. The single album art shows all four of the members of Bone Thugs and Harmony: Flesh and Bone, Wishbone, Busy Bone, and Crazy Bone. I mean, sorry, not Flesh and Bone one on here. My bad. It's first I see was it Lazy Bone, Crazy Bone, Busy Bone, and Wishbone. They also had Flesh and Bone as a member too, but he wasn't on the album cover. I think he may have been locked up or some shit. But this song really put them on the map, and some people have different interpretations of what the song means to them and how it related to a certain critical point of their lives, whether like when it came to losing somebody. A lot of people back then used to, and now shit, it relate to stuff that's going, of course, because it's still relatable because people pass away. You know what I'm saying? People pass away, people cross over to the other side, and people just, that's the cycle of life. If you're born, you're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? You have a birth date, excuse me, you have an expiration date. So you can't control that. And it's talking about basically mourning a loved one, So basically, Crossroad originally debuted in 1995 on the E 1999 Eternal album. It was dedicated to Bones' late friend, Wallace Wally Laird the third. But after the death of Eazy-E, they decided to remake it as The Crossroads because that's what it was called, The Crossroads, right? Um, yeah, the original song appears on an edited version of the album, though the European release has the original track. Well, the original is track number 8, and the remix as track 18. Um, right. Okay. So after receiving high praise for their song, the group decided to make it their third single for their already released album, E 1999 Eternal. Some people, ooh, y'all, I forgot about 3 6 Mafia. This about to segue. Okay, this video about to be longer. Y'all, okay. So, with that being said, I do not believe that the Crossroads was a negative, like it didn't have any negative connotations in it to me, but it was a to me a beautifully um authentic, well, it was a beautiful song because it was authentic and it talks about something that we all go through as humans, as human beings. So I can't say anything negative about that because it talks about questions we have from a spiritual lens. It talks about life, mortality, like basically to reflect on our life's path and understand what we do now can affect us tomorrow and in the long run. And it's talk about finding, faith, and you have to dig deep into yourself to find the answers, as well as like ask God to guide your steps and all this other stuff that is required so that you can understand more about your purpose and your growth here on this planet. Now, I love the melodic rapping and harmonies. That was always cool with me. But on that East 1999 Eternal album, I know I kept saying E, but East 1999. Because I remember, didn't they make that song called East 1990, 1999? Yeah, that's like a chant or, melody too within itself. But the thing is that, um, the only, well, because they were talking like their older stuff was like kind of like horrorcore rap, kind of like that horrorcore type of shit. That's why I brought up 3 6 Mafia too. I'm gonna talk about them real fast, and I'm about to wrap this shit up. Okay, so um, let's see. Okay, I was reading something about Monica. I want to touch base on that too. Um, she been through some shit too, y'all. She been through some shit as well. She used to. Ooh, you know what? I got something else. Oh my god. I gotta finish talking about Bone Thugs and Harmony, 3 6 Mafia, and I wanna talk about No Limit, y'all. Oh my god. This about to be a long ass video. I hope y'all willing to listen. So check this out. Monica used to date C Murder. He ended up getting locked up. He was accused of he was charged with murdering this guy back in the was it the early 2000s or some shit, and he's still locked up from my understanding. Then wait a minute, she had another boyfriend who had committed suicide. uh, and if I'm not mistaken, he did that in front of her. So that was scary, y'all. That was scary. She went through some stuff as well. Um, hmm, let me go back. I need something that is giving the true story here. Okay. They were saying that Jarvis Weems and Monica, let me go back. It says the relationship between the R&B singer and her man came to an abrupt. Wait a minute, why is it going so fast? Came to an abrupt and shocking end when he committed suicide in front of her. Yacht on July 18th, 2000. The couple was at a graveyard, visiting Weems' late brother when Jarvis locked himself in his car. What? Damn, locked himself in his car, and he basically pulled the trigger. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, yeah, it's a lot going on here with the people I'm mentioning. Damn. Okay, let me go back to what was I talking about? Oh, shit. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They said that it was some type of spell that was in the booklet. You know how they would have those booklets in the CD cover and shit back in the day. And if you put it, it was like written backwards, but if you read it in the mirror, it could cause some shit to happen. Shit, I would never. That's what I'm saying. You can't do what celebrities do. You know what I'm saying? Because you may fuck around and cause some havoc and devastation to happen in your damn life because you fucking with that shit. You don't know what you tapping into. Also, I want to talk about what you call 3 6 Mafia and stuff. Y'all, it's some members from 3 6 Mafia that passed away too, because you know they would talk about that shit, that like satanic horrorcore rap type shit too. Gangsta Boo passed away. It's a few others. Let's see, people who died in 3 6 Mafia. They talked about, some type of satanic shit too now. So we had Coops the nigga or Nika. That's what he calls himself, Coops the nigga, Lord Infamous, and Gangsta Boo. Three key members of 3 6 Mafia passed away. Okay, so it's crazy because um I believe they were talking to Crunchy Black, and he was saying that, from my understanding, yeah, they was delving into that shit for real, and Gangsta Boo confirmed that shit too. That I remember now. Yeah, it is crazy because, like they say, and I was saying before, I keep talking about art imitating life. When you play these games like this, you play with that type of energy, that dark energy, sometimes it could come back and bite you in the ass. You know what I'm saying? And it's not cool. It ain't funny. It ain't no game. It will fuck your life up. I'm telling you, y'all. I'm telling you, it's insane. Like the shit people do, like, and I don't even think all the time when people delve into this shit that they doing it for fame and fortune and all this other stuff. I don't believe that's always the case. But let me tell you something. I notice a lot of people, and let me elaborate on this. 3 6 Mafia came from Memphis, Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. And I heard that they fuck with that shit heavy down there, like magic and hoodoo and voodoo and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not fucking surprised. Even when it comes to, like, if you think about it, No Limit, right? They from Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana and shit. And they practice, NOLA voodoo down in New Orleans, uh, Louisiana voodoo, and some other shit too. So, um, people who died in what was that? No Limit Records. And now it got me thinking, when I'm thinking of New Orleans people, I'm thinking of like Lil Wayne and them with Cash Money Records, and the Hot Boys and all that shit. So when it comes to No Limit Records, Young Bleed, he passed away in November 2025 from a brain aneurysm. Soldier Slim, Big Ed, Mr. Magic, Trey 8, Skullduggery, Fino, and Uzi Man, from various causes like gun violence, car accidents, or health issues, impacted the label's roster of No Limit soldiers. Okay, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. And you just be thinking, like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a death march or something on people. Like, it's wild. Um, that's what they saying. So, y'all, this is crazy. And I just be like, wow, this, like, I just think about it. Like, and also, Snoop Dogg had went to No Limit Records briefly for a little while too when he started recording there. And speaking of C Murder, now I ain't gonna lie, this my shit though. Like, fuck the mother niggas, cause I'm down with my niggas. That was my shit though. Like, y'all lying if y'all said y'all ain't like that. Dun, 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 dun. Like, if you hear that, I don't even need to hear the words. Uh, let me see. Yeah, it's called C Murder. Down for down for my niggas. That's what it's called. Shit, no sugarcoat. That came out in 1999, y'all. Quit fucking playing, y'all. If y'all like that, y'all know y'all like that song. And they got a version featuring a version of the song featuring Snoop Dogg and Magic. Okay, from No Limit Records. Okay, so yeah, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good song. Yeah. And then I think they got a version with Snoop featuring like C Murder too. It was weird because it was I think on both of their albums or some shit featuring C Murder and Magic. Yeah. But they changed it to down for my ends because you know they don't want to use the other word. I done already said it, but mm, yeah. But check this out. I'm thinking, like, after he did that song on some real shit, after C Murder did that shit, why seem like his career went up in flames? Like he got in trouble, you know? Let me see. When did he get locked up? Y'all. Yeah, about 3 years later, his career, like, fumbled. Like, yeah, that is crazy. That's crazy. It's like whenever somebody getting to the top of something or they career just start exploding, here comes some bullshit, you know, and you be like, damn, like what happened? Like what the fuck happened for real though? That's crazy. Oh, let's see. With Cash Money Records, artists who passed away. Or who was unalived. I keep forgetting that. So it's some people that I'm not really familiar with. I, Now Magnolia Shorty, I remember her. I remember Magnolia Shorty. She was a prominent rapper from down there. Uh, she was starting to blow up, y'all, like really big, and man, they said that Shorty and Miss T were the first women signed to Cash Money Records, y'all. I'm gonna talk about her because her death was like it was an unnecessary death. It was just crazy, you know, like it was just uncalled for. It was a senseless death. That's what I'm trying to say. That's sad. She was only 28 years old, y'all. Damn, man. Mm-mm-mm. On December 20th, 2010, Magnolia was going back to her apartment to get something before heading to Miami, Florida to perform at a bounce type genre festival. Yes, she was known for bounce music too. Like people know about Big Frida, but Magnolia Shorty, she was also known for her bounce style of music or bounce type genre festival or type music rather. Who she was going to a bounce genre festival at the time was supposed to, but unfortunately she didn't make it. When she pulled in through the gate, another car came in behind her and circled around her and blocked her in. Two men got out of the car and started shooting through the windows. Lord have mercy. She was hit with 26 bullets. Oh my God. And was killed in a car with Jerome Hampton in a double homicide in a parking lot of the gated apartment complex where she lived, called the Georgetown in New Orleans, in the New Orleans East neighborhood of Edge Lake. Police described the crime as a drive-by shooting. Her funeral was held on December 30th, 2010 at the 5th African Baptist Church in her hometown of New Orleans. Lil Wayne, BG, Juvenile, Mac Main, and Birdman were among the more than 100 mourners at the funeral. Mm-mm-mm. She was buried at Mount Olivet, is it Olivet or Olivet Cemetery in New Orleans on November 18th, 2011. Magnolia's widower, Carl Bridgewater, 31, was shot dead. What the hell? He had recently got out of prison and lived with his pregnant girlfriend. Damn. Damn, really? Man, I'm telling you, who we? Baby, honey, mm-mm-mm. Shit. It's insane the shit you have to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we. Oh, wait a minute. They talk about Fat Man Scoop was a part of oh, no. He worked with many artists, including some on Cash Money. Okay. Okay. I was wondering why did they like he wasn't signed to them, but wow, that's crazy. But that's that affiliation, right? Fat Man Scoop, Isaac Freeman III, a hip hop personality and DJ who worked with many artists. I definitely remember him. I used to listen to some stuff that he DJ'd on a lot, including some on Cash Money. He died in 2024 from heart disease after collapsing on stage. Damn, really? Y'all, they got a fucking video on YouTube from 7 months ago talking about every rapper who was unalived on Cash Money Records. Baby, I ain't even got the time, honey. Wow. Wow. And then now they talk about right up under this remembering fallen No Limit Records artists. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. This is crazy. I'm telling you. And also, um, they had a rapper named Kilo G who was on Cash Money Records too, and his real name was Robert L. Johnson Jr. Wait a minute, Robert L. Johnson? Damn, that got me thinking of Robert Johnson. Crossroads. See what I'm talking about? Yeah. And I was just talking about Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Crossroads. Whew, we y'all wait a minute. I want to talk about these two artists too, and they were lovers and a couple at one point, and they also share a son together. Um, Angie Stone and D'Angelo, y'all, man, that shit was crazy. I was like, oh no. When I first heard about them two passing away, I said, no, this can't be true. Oh, this cannot be true. But unfortunately, it was. And I want to talk a little bit about D'Angelo, and it got me thinking of that song, The Devil's Pie, right? Which was, I believe, that was also featured in Belly. See what I'm talking about? How a lot of this stuff intertwine with each other. Um, it is crazy how so many people are interconnected with each other in the industry. And then you think about a lot of tragedies that happen in these circles of people, and you just wonder, like, damn, why does it seem so intense? And a lot of times, it's either something that's like an accident or something like that, or something tragic or health wise. But it just seemed like some of the most tragic shit happened to some of the most popular people in the industry. Uh, I want to talk about Aaliyah last but not least. Last but not least, I'm gonna talk about Aaliyah next, y'all. After I get done talking about Angie Stone and D'Angelo. So, D'Angelo, Devil's Pie, and the Voodoo album. Okay, from my understanding, D'Angelo's song Devil's Pie was also included in the Belly soundtrack. Um, well, on the Belly soundtrack. Boy. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, if you listen to the, I want to say like the instrumentation of the song, it has a very dark tone to it. And you know what? As I'm thinking about it, this, oh my God, this song covers the whole theme of what I be talking about with these celebrities. Like, you can't be so quick to worship these damn celebrities because you don't know what they have to go through to get where they are, how much bullshit they're facing, whether they could go to bed at night and sleep in peace and not have to worry about something or someone coming for their head. Yeah, you may think, oh, they got millions of dollars, mansions, you know, well, yeah, mansions and all this other stuff, and luxury cars, bad bitches are the baddest women, the finest dudes, whatever. That don't mean shit if you don't have a peace of mind when you go to bed at night. I ain't even gonna lie. So check this out. The whole song sums up to this. The devil will destroy those who will sell their souls to him. And I believe that's why D'Angelo made this song, because he was trying to say, I refuse to sell my soul to the devil. I'm not about to eat the devil's pie. And then some people might ask themselves, did he already take a slice of the devil's pie? Because he started changing his image when we had the song Untitled, How Does It Feel? He became more sexual, and the album was titled Voodoo. But do you think it was because he was doing voodoo because he was trying to do some black magic? Or do you think he was trying to, or did you think if he did partake, well, which from my understanding he did partake in some voodoo rituals, but I think they were for protection and not because he was trying to elevate to get to the top. I don't think that was it. I think he was trying to get spiritually protected from the industry because somebody probably was coming at him with this shit. Or maybe he played the game but not completely. And he had to cover himself by adding some more layers of spiritual protection, what he thought would be more spiritual protection, because he was already being attacked allegedly. What about that? I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not saying this is factual or actual. I'm just making some key points here. And it says that the song's first and second verse continue the overall theme of the dangers and excesses of hip hop, as D'Angelo's lyrics comment on the image of prison and death used by hip hop artists, as well as lack of artistic integrity in selling out. The theme of materialism in hip hop music and culture is introduced in the second rendition of the chorus. He was saying, fuck the slice, we want the pie. Why ask why till we fry? Watch us all stand in line for a slice of the devil's pie. Drugs and thugs, women and wine, 3 or 4 at a time. Watch them all stand in line for a slice of the devil's pie. This is this is how it'll be in an everlasting game. Something, yeah, yeah. So basically, yeah, wow. This was also on the Voodoo album as well. Now, Angie Stone. The industry never really fully embraced Angie Stone because she didn't fit that pretty girl image like how they wanted. Like she wasn't the classical beauty type. They couldn't sell her like when it came to her looks because she didn't fit the typical Hollywood image. I honestly didn't have a problem with Angie Stone at all. I thought she was cool with me. Like she was a great singer, great songwriter. If I recall, she wrote songs as well. She was a cool rapper back in the day. She was part of this rap group called The Sequence, or hip hop group slash rap group called The Sequence. And I didn't see nothing wrong with her. I just thought she was a black woman that I was like the image of a black woman, a true representation of a lot of how a lot of black women looked. She wasn't over exaggerated. She was just being herself. She was very neo soul, filled with neo soul. Also, uh, D'Angelo was filled with the music and soul, neo soul. I felt like they came here to do what they needed to do, and they gave us some beautiful art, some beautiful music, timeless lyrics, timeless songs, and I can't even put all this stuff in words because it's hurtful, y'all. This is hurtful. It's just a lot to digest. Uh, it's a lot. Angie Stone wanted her money. She wanted her just due. She wanted to be compensated for her greatness. I don't blame her. But again, when you try to go against these people, the powers that be, allegedly, you will get punished. And they punished her because, see, they couldn't really use her how they wanted to because she was too smart for that shit for the most part. They couldn't play on D'Angelo's mind either like that because they both were enlightened. They knew better. They couldn't manipulate them how they wanted. That's why D'Angelo would take such long hiatuses from the industry because he didn't want to play with all the politics or politricks of the industry, as I like to say. The fucking like people would say Jedi mind tricks or mind games and all this other foolery, tomfoolery and malarkey that they want you to partake in just to have a record deal. And honestly, I believe even if Angie Stone lost weight, they still wouldn't have respected her. Even if she changed her appearance totally, just all. I mean, it didn't matter because honestly, well, what I'm talking about, she had lost a lot of weight. Shit, what I'm talking about, it didn't matter if she had lost weight or not. They didn't respect her. They even though when she changed her looks a little bit around, like different, maybe she from what it looked like, she had explored different looks over the years, and I thought she looked fine personally. Like she was, nothing was wrong with her. To me, how people will over exaggerate just because someone has, I guess you would say, stronger African features or darker skin does not make them unattractive. But you know, some people, like, it didn't matter about her losing the weight. um I didn't see where she got more work. I didn't see where she got paid more. Nothing. It didn't matter about that. Didn't matter about how she wore different outfits or styled or was being styled, um, or anything like that. They still didn't have the respect for her because she really was not of use for them besides being a background player and basically helping other people's careers elevate while hers never really soared like it should have consistently. She should have been a way bigger star than what she was, in my opinion. But that's just, you know, she spoke up and she died fighting for what she believed in. She did. She did. Now going on to the next topic. Last but not least, oh my god, this chair is so squeaky. I need a new chair, y'all. Um Aaliyah. Aaliyah was a popular singer in the 90s up into the early 2000s until she passed away in a tragic plane crash. Um, we already know her connection with R. Kelly. He was very inappropriate with her. He should have known better because he was the fucking adult. I don't give a fuck what nobody have to say. And when it goes to any of these motherfuckers, I'm referring to anybody like that. Even when it came to um other relationships with other people in the industry that who dated people much younger than them, you know better. You know, if that person is not of age or whatever of the legal age, okay, which is a crock of bullshit. You know, you fucking know better. Stop the cap, stop the bullshit, okay? Um, we're not going to go into all that. We already know that a lot of times Hollywood over sexualize these women, young women, such as Monica, Brandy, Aaliyah, several other women that were out, groups and stuff. Like they had them acting grown as hell. Like remember 702, all them. Oh, that's another group, y'all. The majority of 702, shit, about half of them passed away. I think what was her name? Camilla. And the other sister, let's see, 702 members. Cause Irish passed away and they were twins. Yeah. Um Wait a minute. This is crazy though. Yeah. The twin sisters, Irish and Orish, passed away. And the only members that are still around are Camila and Lamisha. And I believe Lamisha was Orish and Irish's sister. And they call her Misha. Yeah. She was the eldest of the Grinstead sisters, which were Orish and Irish Grinstead. Yeah, that's crazy. Mm. But yeah, so I'm just sitting up here thinking about what happened to Aaliyah was crazy. And some people was even saying, was she getting punished because she played that role of Akasha and the Queen of the Damned? And was she taking on some type of energies? Was she under some type of mind control, allegedly, or under some type of supernatural force? Like, was she like being possessed by a spirit, allegedly, that was making her tap into that role of Akasha? Let's be honest. Aaliyah always had an Egyptian type of energy to herself. Like, she always kind of gave me that the goddess Isis slash Osset energy. Look at the video 4 page letter. She was very young once again. And it's crazy how in the video these grown ass men were basically fighting over her. But 4 page letter, when did that come out, y'all? 1997, April 8th, 1997. In 1997, I was 8 years old. Y'all. And on the B side of this single, and check this out, it was from the album One in a Million. That was the album that blew up, y'all. And the song, so check this out. Death of a Player and One in a Million was on the B side of this single for 4 page letter. Now, when was Aaliyah? This song was recorded in 1996, but it was released in 1997. If you listen to how the beat is made, it's got an eerie, slow tempo to it as well. It's kind of eerie, y'all, but she been had that energy around her. That's just who Aaliyah was. Do I think her energy was dark like Akasha, the character? No. But do I think I don't know if she was getting punished for playing the part per se, but I think it was just too that energy was too strong for her spirit, because Aaliyah, she was a Capricorn too, just like R. Kelly is a Capricorn. But Aaliyah was one of the most soft, angelic spirits that I've seen. One of the most like charismatic, beautiful, soft spirits, like gentle spirits I had seen on the screen. She didn't act like a Capricorn to me, but she was a Capricorn. Um I'm not saying Capricorn all Capricorns are mean or anything. Yep, her birthday was January 16th, 1979. So when she recorded 4 page letter, she was 17. When it was released, I believe she was 18. She had just turned 18. But the fact remains she was 17, and they had already like was already like over sexualizing her. Let's just keep it real for a long time. Beautiful, beautiful young lady. By the way, sad that her life is gone, but I do think the Queen of the Dam was a little bit too much for her spirit. Like, I don't. I I mean, that a lot of people who was over the movie didn't really care for the movie itself. Like when they were making it, from my understanding, the main people. I think the lady who's over. What was that? She did some other books. It was based on a book too. And the lady who wrote the book, Anne Rice, I want to say, because she also, let's be honest, Queen of the Dam was supposed to be the sequel to Interview with the Vampire. Interview with a Vampire, yeah, with a vampire, I believe. Okay, that's the right title. So, Anne Rice, from my understanding, was not happy about how it came out. But some people, there is like a, I'm not going to say like a urban legend, but some people argue that Aaliyah should have never took that part, and it was something eerie behind it. Um, yeah. So let's see. Mm. She made the movie much better than what it was. All right, I'm about to wrap this up, y'all. Okay, so from my understanding, Anne Rice was not. I don't think she had any involvement with the film Queen of the Damned, and maybe that's why she wasn't fully satisfied with how it came out, like the final product of it. She said that it was a bad idea and a doomed project. That's what Anne Rice said. She said that she viewed it as mutilated work. She said that it hurt her to see her work mutilated. Wow. And she clarified that's true, that she had no control over the project and actually pleaded with Warner Brothers not to make the movie. Can I say something? Okay. Warner Brothers did the Purple Rain movie for Prince, and guess what? Wasn't he through a contract with Warner Brothers, and that's why he started. He changed his name to a symbol, and he put slave on his face and shit because he couldn't get out of that contract easily. Yeah, Prince and Warner Brothers dispute. The Prince versus Warner Brothers conflict was a bitter public feud in the 1990s over artistic control and ownership, leading Prince to change his name to a symbol, the artist formerly known as Prince, and write slave on his face, protesting his label's ownership of his masters and rigid release schedule. The dispute stemmed from a new contract giving Warner ownership of his catalog and control over releases, despite a large advance making him feel like property. The battle ended in 1996 with Prince fulfilling his contract and later making peace with Warner Brothers in 2014, regaining ownership of his masters in a new deal. Like, now check this out. Sony Records and Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had a complex, decades long relationship with Sony Music, involving his record deals, Epic slash Sony, and his ownership of the ATV music publishing catalog, which included the Beatles songs, a catalog he merged with Sony in 1995 to form Sony slash ATV Music Publishing, leading to both immense profits and public disputes before his death, with his estate later selling significant stakes of his music rights to Sony in major deals, including a large one in 2024. Wow, that's crazy. See what I'm talking about? It's like 6 degrees of separation. And going back to Anne Rice and how she viewed the Queen of the Dam, well, viewed Queen of the Dam, she did offer specific praise for the late singer Ali's performance as Queen Akasha, calling it remarkable and noting she was a gifted singer and actress. And this stands in contrast to her initial negative reaction to Tom Cruise's casting in Interview with the Vampire, where she apologized and praised his performance. Yeah. So, um, I'm thinking, was Anne Rice saying that this was a doomed project and bad idea because she could have felt something wrong with the whole situation, and sadly enough, while filming this, Aaliyah lost her life, in a plane crash. It's crazy, y'all. Yeah, yeah, because they dedicated the movie to Aaliyah, by the way, just in case if you didn't know or wasn't sure. Um, this is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So she died in a plane crash on August 25th, 2001, after completing her scenes in a production. And it was distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures and released in the United States on February 22nd, 2002, and in Australia on April 4th, 2002. Whew, we. So, I'm going to end this whole video right now because it was a lot, and I hope y'all enjoy. If you have any questions or comments, you can hit me up in the comment section, or you could also purchase a reading for your own personal questions or concerns or whatever you may have about your own situations. Not asking about celebrities or nothing like that. I'm not into all that, but we could talk about it in the comment section here on this channel. But I don't like, that type of stuff. Like, some people may want to get a reading on a celebrity, like purchase a read, like, hey, what's going on with this celebrity, that celebrity. I'm not into all that, but we could talk about in the comment section for sure. Anyway, love y'all. Have a beautiful rest of y'all day, and stay safe and blessed. I think I'm about to get me some dinner, y'all. I'm hungry. I've been running my mouth for damn near 2 hours. All right, y'all. Peace.